everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Backstage Spotlight. I am joined by the lovely Emmie, who is the owner of Theatre Tonic Instagram page. Hello, Emmie.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to talk to you about everything that you do on your Instagram page, on your socials, all things musical related, theatre related. For those who haven't seen your account, do you just want to say a bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm Emmie. I am the founder of Theatre Tonic. We are primarily like a theatre website. We have started to integrate more onto social media. It's going into its 10th year next year.
Wow.
And we now have a team of over 20 writers who are based all around the UK. So we have people in Scotland and also down in South and all in between. So yeah, we're quite a big site really. But we do all sorts. We do interviews, we do reviews, and we do news pieces and backstage and stuff. So
That's amazing. I wanted to ask you, how did it all start? Where did you get the idea and how did you grow it?
oh god. Like I say, we're going into our 10th year, and I actually started writing my blog during like the big blog era when it was kind of like Zoella was kind of a really big thing back
Yes.
then. And I started writing primarily because I was studying a dance degree at Coventry University, and I kind of got to my final year, and you know how it is probably for yourself going into your final year. There's a lot of pressure to kind of decide what do you want to do next.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
and I didn't want to perform anymore. I think for me, it kind of got to the stage where I was like, oh, mentally and physically, the performing arts industry is so demanding. And I just found that during my studies, I was writing quite a lot on my blog that we kind of had to do during our degree.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love this. Why am I not doing it? And I hadn't seen anyone else doing it. So I just started writing, and then obviously 10 years down the line, we're still here, we're still alive and kicking. So we did something right.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it's funny to see how you start off doing something and then life just happens and the natural causes of it just take you down different paths that you didn't think you were going to go down.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always thought I was going to do performing. But like I say, I think I got to like my final year and I was like, it's just not for me anymore. And I do miss elements of it, but I was like, no, I enjoy writing about it. Like
Yeah.
it's less pressure. Um, yeah, and you still get to see the variety of theatre. It's just a completely different way of still being engrossed in the industry without being a performer. And
Yeah.
it's quite nice to be able to do that.
So when you go and see shows, how do you approach writing about them? Is it like just explain?
Oh, okay. So when it comes to reviews, I think over the years it's really changed because there's been a lot more discussion about, looking at representation, diversity,
Yeah.
and that's something that we're trying to. I think now that I've expanded my team, it's a lot easier to do. When it was just me, it's really hard. So when I go into a theatre, I kind of think about, representation. Are you seeing on that stage what you should be seeing? Are you
Yeah.
seeing like our society being reflected? And I think as well now there's a massive discussion with my team at the moment about pantomimes. Now for us, we don't star rate a pantomime, and people are
Mm.
like, why don't you do that? And I'm like, because for a lot of theatres, big or small, that's their main source of income every single year,
Yeah.
and I just don't want to be a part of dictating who is the best one.
Yeah.
So we just think about things like, when I go into a review, if it's kind of marketed as a family show, you kind of go, right, how is this accessible to families? What can they
Yeah.
gain from this and things like that? So yeah, that's how I approach it.
Yeah. And how many shows would you say you see per year? So like this year so far, how many do you think you've seen?
So personally, I think we are going, well, I've seen about over 50 to 80. But my team, we log every single show we have seen and put on
Yeah.
our website, and we have hit over 400 this year.
400.
But I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll hit 450. I'd love us to hit 450.
Wow. That's like one
Um,
and a half a day.
I know. I mean, to be fair, when you have a team though, it's really difficult because like this week, I think one day we've got like 5 writers out on the same night.
Yeah, wow. That is hectic.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's nice though having a bigger team so that you can go more around the country, and I'm assuming they're based in different locations.
Yeah, and I think as well, it creates so many different like like interesting conversations because obviously a lot of us go and see the same shows like over
Yeah.
a time frame. So it does create really interesting conversations because some people get like there's some shows that I have definitely not enjoyed this year. So then when my writers are like, but I really enjoyed it, I'm like, oh, okay, let's discuss this. What did you
Yeah.
like about it? So it's quite nice. It's such a community feel because we can discuss things quite openly. But then you kind of present the challenge of if you get like if we rate a show quite low, we get some kind of criticism about that, which is
Yeah.
always
It's
annoying.
always going to happen though, because it's subjective, and theatre's like an art form, and that's just dependent on who's watching it. And
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we did Edinburgh Fringe for the first time this year.
oh wow.
Amazing. If you get the chance to go, you've just got to go and experience it once. But we did that this year, and what's been really nice for us is a lot of the shows that we reviewed and kind of said, "Oh, these are amazing." They've now mostly transferred to London, so
Wow.
we're like, "Yes!" Like what we've done has actually helped somebody.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's great.
so that's really good.
I saw at Edinburgh Fringe, it was about 5 years back now. Um, I Wish I Could Be in a Musical.
Yes, they're still
And
going strong.
yeah, and that's still going strong. And I think that was one of their first public like
Mm.
experiences, like to show their piece at Edinburgh Fringe. And it's just crazy to see how much a show can develop. And Six started at Edinburgh
Mhm.
Fringe, didn't it? So
Yeah.
Edinburgh Fringe is a great place to go to find like the start of a show.
Yeah, and I think as well it opens your eyes to new things and like new ideas, and everyone's such like a community up there. It's really it's there's such a buzz in Edinburgh, and you don't unless you go there, you don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But it was just lovely, and you go and like we had like a frame time where like time frame when we were like, right, we're gonna have like 3 hours here where we will just put in whatever gravitates us going down the mile,
Yeah.
and that's really like it's really good. So I would like wholeheartedly advise anyone to go. I know it's expensive, but it's worth every penny.
Yeah. That's really good advice, because I, having been to Edinburgh Fringe, I think it's something that people should experience. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I've got a question that might be really tricky for you, having seen so many different pieces of theatre.
Hmm?
But if you had to have a top three ever,
Ever.
which
Okay.
ones would they be and why?
Oh, okay. Ever. Number one for me has always been Rent. I think Rent, I know Luke Bayer was talking about it on your podcast.
Yes.
And for me, Rent was one of the first musicals that kind of got me in, like really
Yeah.
got me in. And I just love it. I think it needs to come back. I know that Peterborough are doing a production of it next year, next
Oh,
summer.
wow.
But I'd like to see that back. Number two, Amelie.
Oh,
Fell
I
in
didn't
love
get
with
a chance to
Amelie.
see that, but was it good?
It was just stunning. And I think I saw it just before the pandemic, and it was the
Yeah.
first show I saw post-pandemic.
Oh,
And that collective of people, God, it sounds like I'm a crazy fan, but I'm not. But that group of people are so solid, and they obviously some of them went on to do The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe together.
yeah.
And just that journey of staying together, and then obviously now it's in Birmingham, not many of them are doing it this time round,
Mm.
but it was just lovely. I loved Amelie. And then one that really surprised me this year was The Curious Case of Benjamin Button at the Southwark.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So gives you Amelie vibes, but
Yeah.
it's one of the most emotional shows I've ever seen.
Oh,
Like me and my friend were sat there like a fellow reviewer, and we were sobbing that much you could feel us shaking, but we were like, don't look
oh,
at each other, don't look
yeah.
at each other, we just need to be fully embraced. But I have heard it is coming back, so fingers crossed,
Oh,
2024
nice.
it is
Yeah.
coming back.
I'll have to see that one.
Yeah, you'd love it. If you like the film, it's completely different to the film, but there's something really beautiful about the way they do it.
Yeah.
That's like, oh yeah, it's
It's
stunning.
really interesting as well when there is a film version of it and you see how they almost transpose it to stage and
Mm,
see their take on it and a different vision almost of the same story. It's sometimes really clever to
yeah,
see. It's nice. Have you seen The Little Big Things yet?
haven't. Which I know is really bad.
No,
But
you've got to go see that. You've got to go see
yeah,
that one.
it's high on my list. I'm trying to squeeze in one final trip of the year to kind of squeeze in a lot of ones that I've just kind of not seen. Like I've not seen Sunset Boulevard yet, and
Yes, I
everyone has
need to see
been
that.
on about it to me.
Yeah,
Um, but it's just trying to fit it all in, and
yeah, I
obviously the
bet.
cost of theatre tickets is quite high. So it's like
Mm.
I need to go down and kind of have like a weekend or something where I just chop them all in.
Yeah. Honestly, The Little Big Things was it's great. It's based on the book, and
Mm.
I know since the show, my mum got the book and read it, and she said it was just fantastic. It's a really, really heartfelt story as well. So they're your top three.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And if there was a show that you could bring back that used to be in London or that's on the West End, what would be that show?
One that always sticks out to me, I am such a huge like champion of regional theatre. I think regional theatre this year has been exceptional, and for the
Yeah.
last few years, it's been incredible.
Mm.
I mean, I'm based in Leicester, so my home theatre is the Curve. So
Yes.
whatever the Curve generates, usually is top notch. But one in particular was Billy Elliot, and
Oh, yes.
their production of Billy Elliot was next level.
Really.
Like it was just stunning. Like I don't know what it was that Nikolai Foster did, but it was just so blooming clever. It was so
Yeah.
very good. I mean, obviously their production of A Chorus Line is coming back next year, but I am
Great.
begging for them to bring Billy Elliot back
Yeah.
and put
Billy,
it in
oh,
London.
that is such a good show. Such a good
Yeah.
show.
And I think as well, because they obviously had success with Greece, is such a good, like, what's the word, like, example of what they've done. And
Yeah,
obviously Greece was a Curve production, so look what they've done with that. And it's like let Billy Elliot be the next one that you now
that's
add to the
great.
list.
Yeah, that would be great. What do you think about Hades Town?
I am so excited for Hades Town. I knew very little about it, and I think for me a lot of shows for next year, like the new ones, I'm trying to go in blind,
Yeah,
like with no preconception, no kind of idea. I've listened to a bit of Hades Town, but I'm trying not to like immerse myself in it because
yeah,
I really want to see it for the first time and have that full experience. But
yeah.
that casting is just
I saw
touching.
the clips from the like concert they did, and
Yes.
it's just beautiful. I cannot wait to see it. I think that is going to be, yeah, that's going to be an amazing show. I've
Yeah,
wanted it to come to London for so long, and I'm just so glad it finally is.
definitely. And I think it'll be one of those that's gonna, because it's kind of got that Greek kind of mythology vibe, it's gonna
Yeah,
bring in such a different audience, which is what we need. So
definitely.
I welcome it with open arms. Yeah, I'm very excited by it. And I'm just thrilled that people like Ali Daniels are able to have a platform now.
It's great. Yeah, it really is. So talking about like Leicester Curve and different locations around the UK, what
Mhm.
has been the most standout location that you have seen a show in?
So this year, I would definitely say Watermill Theatre in Newbury is one of the hardest theatres to get to, like location wise, because of
Yeah,
where it is. But their production of The Lord of the Rings this summer was so good. And for a theatre that literally has no funding now, it's been completely scrapped off them this year. And what they managed to pull out of the bag was so good. It was kind of like semi-immersive. So you started outside
oh,
and
that's
they like made it like all outside. So you had all the artists going in through you and talking to you. And
yeah.
then they like start the production, but then they bring you into the theatre and
Oh,
then they
yeah.
do everything in there. And then at the end, they bring you back out. So it's almost like you're going from like Hobbit Town, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
Hobbit Town, and then going into the theatre, going into like Middle Earth, what happened on their journey, and then coming back. So clever.
Yeah. I love when they do things like that. It's so cool. It's
I
like a new twist. It's like changing theatre almost.
Yeah, and I think now, we need to find new ways of bringing the audience in that's non-traditional,
Yeah.
um, because there's a generation that are growing up and they want things that are more engaging, and they're not just constantly sat down, because your attention span doesn't
Yeah.
want you to sit down for 2.5 hours these days.
Yeah.
So it's about finding new, exciting ways to bring people in. And I do think Watermill is one of the ones that will do that.
Yeah, that's great. It's like Guys and Dolls as well by London
Yes.
Bridge. That one. Have you been in the immersive part?
I've done both. I've done seated and standing, which is nice because you get a different like atmosphere and a different experience of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I loved it. They've done such a good job with Guys and Dolls.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I did the immersive standing tickets, and I had no idea what to expect. I went with my mum, and you know how they have like chairs and tables out. We were like, are we allowed to sit down? Like, how involved can we be? And there were like lines on the floor, and we were just like standing by the line, and the crew were like, come on over, like use the space. And it was just completely immersive. And also having like the stage hands as like almost policemen, and
Yeah.
them involved in that way. It's just so clever. And it just seeing more and more things like that coming in, it's just really like, yeah, it's like food for thought. It's really cool.
Mm.
And I just don't even know how they begin to think of new ideas like that.
No, there's so much to think about. Like you say, I think with a production like that, like you say, like you're always moving.
Yeah.
And I know when we went to see it, they kept going, "Oh, come here!" Like, no, you need to go back there. And we were like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah. And then when they raised the platforms and people like audience members actually sat on the set. It's brilliant. Have you seen a show at the open air theatre at Regent's Park?
Yes, I saw Legally Blonde during the peak of the like heat wave last summer.
Oh my gosh. Was it? That must be quite hard, even for the actors,
Yeah.
because yeah, the weather's so unpredictable. You just don't know.
No, I mean it was a fantastic. I loved Legally Blonde. It was great, but I think what made us laugh is all of my group of friends that went. We all dressed up in pink, like you do.
Yeah.
But I think we came out as pink as what like on our skin as what we were wearing, and we were that sunburnt because we were literally right in the direct sunlight throughout the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
God, but yeah, but I love Regent's Park. Love it.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
great.
great. I love how you have to walk like a good 15-20 minutes to even just get there.
You do, don't you? But at least it's nice surroundings when you're doing it. It's
Yeah.
not
Oh, it's
like it could be
lovely.
worse.
Yeah, definitely. And also like if it rains, they just have to get like ponchos out.
Yeah.
Like umbrellas. I went for like a backstage tour of it. I don't know if you've seen the backstage, but it is in the forest. Like it's just greenery everywhere. They have like mirrors just hung up on trees, and their like backstage dock is like under a gazebo tent. It's just amazing. It was such a great thing to do, to visit the backstage side of it. I've got a game. I don't know how good you are with
I'm nervous.
like general knowledge, like musical theatre. It's a bit, it's it's not that hard. I've been quite kind. But
Okay.
how it will work is I will say one clue, and if there's 3 clues in total for each musical,
Okay.
and you can guess after each clue. So if you get it wrong, you then get another clue, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll do the first one as like an example run, and then you'll get the gist. So
Right.
the first clue is the opening song is called Story of My Life.
Do you know what? Instantly I think of One Direction. That's awful. I was like, I literally went, I was like, whoa, what was that? Where am I? Okay. I can't think now, top of my head. Can I have a second clue? Have you got a
Yeah.
second clue?
This musical has a lot of fairy tale creatures in.
Not Shrek, is it?
Yeah, it's Shrek.
Why did I think of One Direction? I was like, wow, story of my life. Bring back One Direction, clearly.
Yeah, maybe they should do a musical of One Direction.
Okay, I'd be down for that. I love a
Jukebox.
Hey, if
Right.
Take That can do it, then One Direction can.
Exactly. There's always a gap in the market somewhere. That would bring in loads of fans.
It would.
It
See?
really would, wouldn't it?
Right, I'm ringing up a producer right now.
Yep, get that sorted. Maybe that can be your next like venture.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, me and my friend tried to write a Chicken Run musical during lockdown.
Oh my gosh, how did that go?
Mate, it's iconic. It's really good. We're really proud of it. I don't know why we've never done anything with it. I think we should.
Yeah.
Like Babs gets like a whole tap number.
Oh my gosh. That needs to be seen by the public. You need to workshop that as soon as you can. In lockdown, I just found it hilarious. People were writing musicals like the Ratatouille. Did you ever see that?
I loved it.
That was so good. I loved that. Like the songs were so catchy. And they also did Bridgerton.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They were so good. Like they've got legs.
Yeah,
And
come
then
on.
everyone would like tag the account and like make a new scene. It was fantastic. They called it Ratatouille. They call the musical, I think.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, it was so good. That social media nowadays is just a different ball game. The
Should
things
have
that,
done our Chicken Run one. Damn it.
yeah, there's still time. You can still bring it out, bring it back. Right, the next one. First clue is this show has a lot of upbeat dance numbers. Very vague.
That could be quite. Yeah, that could be quite a few. Like Hairspray has a few, doesn't it?
It's Hairspray.
Yeah. Only because today I've been thinking about Hairspray because of Kilworth House did it this year.
Yeah. The
The
other clues for that were the next one was set in the 60s, so you will have definitely got after that, and then about a TV show, the Corny Collins show. You got that one straight away.
I'm so good at this game.
You're brilliant. Right, next one. This show has more than 232 puppets.
The Lion King.
Yeah. You're so good. Have you seen The Lion King?
Yep, seen it a few times. I've seen it 4 times now.
Oh, wow. I saw it when it was on tour. I saw it in Edinburgh.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, I did really enjoy it. I'd love to see it again in London. It was about 3-4 years ago now that I saw it in London, and I feel like I was not too young, but it was like the start of me going to see shows. And I think if I watched it now, I'd just appreciate like the use of the puppets more and the songs. It's a classic. It's a Disney classic.
Yeah, it's good. It definitely, I feel like because it's quite old now, but
Yeah,
it's been there
it's
quite
been
a long
around
time
for a
now.
while.
It definitely needs like an injection of more life into it, I think. It's one of those.
I feel like it's very traditional.
Yes.
Like it's your traditional like Disney puppets dance, like it's like that. I would be intrigued to see a like modern revival of it.
Yeah, but I think that could be really interesting how they would take it on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be really interesting. Okay, next one. This show is under the sea.
Little Mermaid.
No. Do you want another clue?
Okay, under the sea.
It's a well-known childhood TV show.
Under the sea. I might need the third one.
Third one is you use this to wash dishes with.
Oh my god, why has my mind gone blank?
It was on in summer and it was on tour this year.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
The gasp. SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yeah, who lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Good old SpongeBob. I
Good old
liked that
SpongeBob.
musical. I thought it was really funny. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
it was funny. I had never watched SpongeBob. I've never seen SpongeBob through the whole of my childhood, so I didn't really understand like any of the. I didn't know who any of the characters were, but it was a great show, very entertaining. And my friend Hannah was in it, so I went to see
Oh, I
her.
love Hannah.
She's
Love Hannah.
great. She's a really
Yeah, so we had a catch up during when she was in Leicester. So yeah, it was good. Yeah, she's really lovely, to be fair.
yeah, it's great, and she's doing great in Six. She's done her debut as both alternates.
Yeah, I need to go and see her. I was really once I heard she was on last week, I was like, oh, I could have gone down. But I'm like, right, wait for the next time she announced it, and then I'm gonna try and snag a ticket because I need to go and see her.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
She definitely looks a lot more comfortable as well now, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's so good.
I saw her in Heathers as well, way back. She's come so far. Who knew? Tesco in lockdown.
Oh, look, lockdown again. She could have done a Tesco musical.
Tesco.
God damn it,
Yeah.
Hannah.
Right, so we need to action once this call's finished. We need to action your Chicken
Run.
Run musical, and we need to do a Tesco musical, and we'll get Hannah involved with that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Hannah will do it.
Yeah, of course you will. Yeah. Right, let's move on to the next one. This show is set in Paris.
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. So good.
Oh,
I've
it's
seen...
hot in that theatre though. Oh my lord.
Did they not have the fan on when you went?
No, it's just warm. Every time I walk into that one, I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
oh
know
my
what you
God,
mean.
it's so hot.
It's like you're walking into like a hot restaurant. Do you know that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this time of year, that's where you want to be. If you want to get
That's
warm, go to
true.
Moulin Rouge because it's going to be baking hot in there.
I've been twice, and now you say it, it was very hot in the auditorium.
It is so hot. I went
Great
like,
show though.
yeah, I think I went like winter time, and I remember being all like wrapped up, and I sat down, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's hot in there. But the dancing in that show, I love. It's top
Yeah,
notch. It's brilliant.
Backstage Romance is just,
Oh, that is the best one. Even just like the lighting, it's so
yeah.
good. We did I wouldn't say like a remake because I don't think it had anything on the West End version of it. But in first year, we did a showcase for our parents on open day in first year, and we did the songs from that show. And what did I do? The Adele one.
Oh,
What was it? What was it? Rolling.
Rolling in the Deep, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a remix.
Yeah.
Crazy Rolling.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
We
one.
did that, and yeah, it's interesting.
Well, you know, you can always make it to the West End. You've started, you
Yeah,
know, done
I
it.
dipped my toe in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, next one. This show is coming to London soon.
Could be a few.
Mhm.
Mean Girls.
No.
So Mean Girls is coming. Hades Town is coming.
Yeah, it's Hades Town. We
I was
spoke
like,
about it earlier.
yeah, I was like, maybe she's trying to throw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
see.
excited to see Mean Girls though too.
I'm so intrigued who they're going to cast for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. The casting. When do they usually announce that?
So when is it opening? June?
Yeah, I
June,
think.
August time. So I reckon we'll probably know February, March time. I think they'll
Yeah,
let Hades Town open, do its thing, and then I think we'll know.
yeah, that will be interesting to see. Very interesting. I'm
Could be
sure.
you never know.
Well,
Come on, graduating, aren't you, next year? There you go.
do they need a Regina George?
I'll be anything. I'll be the burn book. See, could be the burn book. That
I'll
would be
be
iconic.
yeah, I'll be a bench.
Yeah. Although, did you see the production images for The Witches at National Theatre?
No, but I went for a tour of National Theatre and I saw all the set being painted and it was phenomenal.
I need to go and see it, but I'm slightly envious of the child that gets to dress up as a Henry Hoover. I thought I've never wanted a role more in my life. But there's a kid dressed as a Henry Hoover. Winner.
That's brilliant. The tickets for that are pricey.
I know, I keep looking, and they do a rush on a Friday at 1 p.m.
Okay,
for
I'll look out for
£10
that.
tickets. And I have been looking, and I'm like, oh, I just need to do it. I need to bite the bullet. But
Yeah.
I do have a feeling it might have a West End transfer anyway.
Yeah.
Because everyone, but then it's kind of that thing where you're like, do I wait and see if they're going to have a West End transfer? But then
Mm,
if they don't have one and it finishes at the end of January, I've basically missed it.
yeah. It's a tricky one. It's just like 70 quid, just pay it up.
It's a lot, isn't it, though?
It is a
For
lot
the
of money. Yeah,
I don't know. I might.
we'll
I'm
see.
gonna try one more time for not that I missed it, but I'm like trying to. I've only got like certain days where I can go, so I'm gonna do one final go, I think, and then if I can't get it next week for whatever reason, I'm just gonna pay the £70.
Yeah. I think it will be worth it. It looks like it's going to be a good show.
Just for the kid in the Henry Hoover.
Just for the kid, just for that one kid in that Henry Hoover.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's my highlight. I pay £70 to watch
Headline.
a child to watch a
Yeah.
child be a Henry Hoover.
Ah, that's funny. Okay, last one.
Cool.
The music in this musical is by Stephen Schwartz.
Wicked.
Yeah. Easy.
That was easy.
Yeah. I didn't make that one very challenging. But you smashed that. That was really good.
Hey, I thought I wasn't going to. When you said game, I was like, no.
Oh, we've always got to have a game. Always got to have a game. They're great fun. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great just to have a chinwag about the doing blogging and reviewing and things. Yeah, great
Yeah, it's
chat.
great.
Thank you so much for
One
having me.
question. What's your next show that you're going to see?
Well, we're like knee deep in Panto season now, which
Yeah.
is exciting. But I am actually in London tomorrow to watch My Neighbor Totoro.
Ooh.
I saw it last year and it is just amazing. So I was like, I really want to see it again, just to see if it's retained all that magic it had the first time. So yeah, My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah. It got so many Olivier Awards, didn't it? I
Yeah,
need to
absolutely
see
smashed
that
it out of
one.
the park.
I
Yeah,
need
you
to
need
go see
to.
that.
So good. And I hadn't seen the film before. My fiance is like a huge fan of the films,
Yeah.
but I was like, I need to go and see it. But it's just beautiful. You need to go and see it.
Yeah.
That's worth every penny.
Yeah.
But there's no child dressed up as a Henry Hoover, but there is
Oh,
amazing puppetry that when you see it, it actually blows your mind how they've done it.
yeah.
Like actually made me go, okay, this is a whole new level of puppetry now.
Yeah. I need to, 100% need to see that one.
Yeah, book your tickets. There you go. Spend £70 on that one.
Yeah. And the witches if you've got that sort of money.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And very, very last question. You have to nominate someone to come on the podcast. Who are you nominating?
Right. Do you know who I would really, really love you to talk to? Besides obviously Hannah. But it'd be good to get someone like Lucy Jones
Yes.
or I'm trying to think top of my head. Or a director. So maybe someone or a choreographer. So I'm really good friends with Stephen Mears. So someone like Stephen Mears is
Yes.
so good to chat to. Stephen comes with the most vast range of experience you would not believe. So Stephen Mears would be a really good shout. So
That would be fantastic. I will definitely do my reaching out and see if they'd like to come and join me.
lovely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on and chatting to me. And everyone listening, please make sure you like this video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the channel and give the Spotify podcast a 5-star review. And we'll see you in the next episode.